So in Texas, we have two broad categories of crime. We have misdemeanors, which are smaller offenses, and then we have felonies, which are the larger offenses. Now, what can happen is a misdemeanor can turn into a felony in a variety of ways through an enhancement. Most of the time, it's going to be if there have been multiple instances of the occurrence. For example, a DWI first may be a misdemeanor. DWI second is a misdemeanor, but the third is going to jump up to a felony. It can also jump up by virtue of the aggravating factors associated with the case. For example, you may have a regular assault that is going to be a misdemeanor, but if there is an allegation or enhancement that a weapon was used, that misdemeanor assault will now be enhanced to a felony. When cases are enhanced to a felony, the punishment ranges and the consequences jump up significantly. A big issue with felonies as well is that we kind of call them the economic death penalty, because felonies are going to have an impact on almost every area of your life, from voting to firearms, to getting licenses, to loans, to education, to background checks. And so we want to avoid felony convictions at all costs. Because Texas takes felonies so seriously, and because of the far-reaching impacts a felony conviction can have on someone's life, at Brick, we do everything possible to make sure that our clients never get a felony conviction. We'll employ strategies and defenses from the beginning to make sure that that felony case never reaches your background and never pops up on a background check. And then, depending on the outcome of your case, a lot of times, if handled correctly, good attorneys may have options down the line to either seal or expunge your record. The consequence of that will be that when employers run background checks on you, that felony conviction is not going to pop up and it's not going to be used against you. Now, if you find yourself in a situation where you are facing multiple misdemeanor allegations against you, one of the keys is to make sure that you hire the same attorney to handle them all together. That way, the attorney can go to the district attorney's office, and if there's a deal that needs to be reached, it can be a package deal. If there's a dismissal, it can be a dismissal for all of them. If it's going to be a trial, it can be a trial that encompasses everything at once. What you don't want is this approach of kind of a piecemeal where you're handling one thing in one court with one attorney and another thing in another court with another attorney. That's how you get mismatches. That's how you get some confusion. That's usually how you get a bad outcome. You're going to want to wrap everything together with the same attorney and the same law firm. The other thing that you need to be aware of when discussing misdemeanor allegations is that they all have a tendency to stack, right? So a DWI first is going to be a misdemeanor, DWI second, misdemeanor, then a felony third. Same thing with theft. Same thing with assault family violence. The first one is a misdemeanor, but often the second time is going to be an automatic felony. We really want to be careful with felonies because they can have such harsh impacts on your life. So if you end up with a misdemeanor allegation, just make sure that you don't stack any more on top of it. Make it a one-time thing, because the worst thing that can happen to somebody is getting multiple misdemeanors and having them enhanced to felonies. So sometimes people think that if they're charged with a felony, that it's just the end of the world, that they're never going to be able to vote, they're never going to have a gun, they're never going to go and be able to get loans or educations or jobs, and that their entire life is going to be ruined and they're going to end up in prison. Fortunately, we employ a lot of strategies and get cases reduced from felonies down to misdemeanors, keep them off your record, beat the cases themselves, get them dropped, get them dismissed, whatever it takes to avoid a felony conviction. So you find yourself charged with either a misdemeanor or felony offense in Texas, give us a call. We'll offer a free consultation. We'll go through your case. We'll see what defenses might be available to you, what strategies we've employed in the past to get our clients past this situation. We've handled everything from the smallest misdemeanor to the biggest felony. If you give us a call, I'm sure we can help you through your case.